So this one, again, we're dealing in geometry, so it is a straightforward question. Area of a trapezoid. So when they don't give us a picture, we lose the ability to visualize the thing. Even if they go screwy with it and lean it on its side or whatever. So the area of a trapezoid is 2,800. The lengths of the bases are 30 and 40. What's the height? And they say formula sheet, and formula sheet is helpful, but we still want to know the formula sheet well. So area of a trapezoid right here, it is the most complicated one. It is area equals 1/2 h times b1 plus b2. So I'm going to write that out. Area equals 1/2 h b1 b2. Okay, get rid of this. Bring this on back. Get rid of this. All right, so now we fill in what we know. And this is going to turn from a geometry question into an algebra question. So a trapezoid is like a busted up rectangle. It's got a top and a bottom, let's say, and then the sides are crooked. So it's like it got squashed or leaned on or whatever. And the bases are the top and the bottom, which is one of those things where base usually makes us think bottom, or the part that touches the ground if it was whatever. We don't have to worry about that right now. All we're going to do is plug in what they gave us. They gave us, so this is going to turn into algebra quick. The area is 2,800. Everything else slides on in. We don't know the height. The height is the what, so that's going to stay a letter. And then B1, the lengths of the bases are 30 and 40. That's what goes in here, base 1 and base 2. Which sounds very science fiction-y. Okay. Where do we go from here? So, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally rides shotgun with you when you drive to this test. She is never ever going away. Parentheses first. So we could do that real quick. 30 plus 40. Also, we got to remember, they only give us a whiteboard that's about that big. So we don't get a ton of room to do our work. So I'm just going to erase that 30 plus 40. And we do get a calculator for this stuff, is 70. Now, staring at that, especially, so many times in algebra, we put the answer over here, and just having the answer on the left sometimes can be a little bit thrown off. I love the answer, or the total on the right. But we can deal with this, doesn't matter. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to see that, the old question of what do we do first? This is multiply, 1/2 times h. This is multiply. And the commutative property of multiplication means you can do it in any order you want. 2 times 3 times 4 is the same as 4 times 2 times 3. You can mix up the order. So real quick, we can do 70 times 1/2. Now, I'm going to show you something. Most of the world will do a math problem, and it'll be like this. 70 times 1/2. But we want to think of it instead like this. 70 times 1/2. Because every whole number has a ghost 1 underneath it. And it reminds us that when we multiply fractions, it's a drag race. Multiply across the top, that's 70. Multiply across the bottom. So it's just like two cars racing each other straight ahead. And then we remember that fractions are just division problems. We type into our calculator, 70 divided by 2 is 35. So what we have left is 35 times h. This looks complicated, but really it's just adding these two together and dividing by 2, which means like taking an average of the bases and then multiplying it by height. So anyway, and I'm going to flop over the answer over here just because I feel like I'm in charge of math every time I do that. And then 35 goes in the basement. We want to isolate the variable, get the h all by itself. I always draw that tag, just that tail, just a little bit too long to remind myself that that's how I'm going to type it into my calculator. These cancel out. H equals whatever 2800 divided by 35 is. It's one of those answers. So I'm going to unwind this and we're going to talk it through again. And we never drew a picture of the trapezoid. We didn't draw one. We could, maybe we will at the end, but we relied on just what we were given. That came from the formula sheet, and it looks intimidating. Just know the trapezoid could be like one leg is, it's like a rectangle, one leg over here, or height is straight and the other one's crooked, or they both could be crooked, or whatever. This is all the information we need. It was 30 and 40, and we plugged everything in. That's the area, okay? And suddenly it's, they gave us the final, but we got to figure out one of the ingredients, which is going to be the height. And then we added those two things together in here. And then we remembered, since this is all multiplying, we can do it in any order we want. So we're cutting the 70 in half, or 70 times 1/2. And then we remembered that's how we do that. Put the denominator in the basement because everybody has a ghost 1. We're all the same. We're all fractions. You can't hate fractions because we're all fractions. 70 divided by 2 gives us 35. It's really 35 times h. It really simplified fast. 35 goes in the basement, and whatever you type into your calculator is the right answer. So that's good geometry. It's worth the time, worth the fight. About a 2-minute question, and you guys will crush it.